Like if you can just commit to the outputs and the actions, you have literally handled the outcomes. I promise you, it happens this way always for everyone. All right, everyone, this is the one from me you cannot miss. This is my number one absolute secret to impact. Now, impact is my word for success. Success to others means how big is my practice, how big is my income, how big is my life, and I love all that because those things flow from how big is your impact. And there's a lot of stuff that I've had amazing teachers and mentors and people I've been blessed to, God has put in my life that have taught me so many valuable lessons and principles, but this is my number one, and it's not even close. Outputs determine your outcomes. The only thing I focus on every single week in my life is, am I hitting my marks? Am I getting the actions done, the outputs that will lead to the outcomes, the goals, the size and scale that I have in my heart, that I have in my head, that I have in my passion planner? So am I a goals obsessed person? Not at all, actually. And that may surprise you when you hear that. I do not focus on the goals. Now I have them. They are at the front of my passion planner. They're right where I need to see them if I ever feel like I'm getting off. I don't ever get off track. And here's why, because I've simplified the process. That's the secret of this. It's freaking simplicity. That's why this quote will probably scroll right on by a lot of people, that your outputs determine your outcomes, and it happens no other way. This is the single most important thing I can get to you as students, startups, and then where it really gets hard to live this life, where your outputs are the only thing you focus on, is when you have found success. When you already have a successful practice and a good going life, this is the easiest time to back off of the actions, to back off of the outputs, to hit cruise. And the moment you do that, maybe a half-second moment later, you're toast. So I'm going to switch to the iPad here, and I'm actually going to do like I always do with videos. We're not just going to go into theory and principle. We're going to turn it to action, implementation, and application, because it's a quote, it's a conversation about actions. So if I don't actually teach you how I have done it and am doing it, I don't think it will be as valuable. So with that in mind, here we go. Check this out. On the iPad, I'm going to take you through my 3 seasons of life, what I did as a startup, what I did as a student, what I did as a startup, and what I do today, checkbox by checkbox. So that's what I mean by hitting my marks. I literally make my calendar technically every quarter, every month. This is really a weekly conversation. If you're a PX member, you probably had that AHA training on the kind of office tour onboarding. I teach you about the ideal week and how to really win the week and how much that's a Jedi trick instead of winning the day. So every single week when it's either Sunday night or first thing Monday morning, I literally go through and on paper, I put my outputs. I literally just hit these little checkboxes, so these little squares right here that are, and my job is to, by the end of the week, check each of those. Now you're like, is that a to-do list? I know this sounds like splitting hairs, but for me, it's not. It's a sum net amount of actions that I would need to go through and accomplish in order to end up with the goals and the outcomes that I wanted. So it's really an output calendar. The reason I give myself a week is because we're all going to have days where you get completely distracted, you get completely exhausted, and you get completely thrown off course. Well, in the course of a week, you got 7 to make it up. So if you suck in the first half of the week, crush it on Thursday and Friday. And vice versa, you crush it Monday through Wednesday, guess who's golfing on Friday? All right, so let's go through this. So as a student, here were the marks that I committed to at all times. I attended 2 clubs per week. At that time, I was completely into Gonstead. Actually, if I'm a student right now, I would balance myself out, because what I've learned in practice is that it's the Dion and the Bo answer, which is both. So both manual HVLA, amazing adjusting. I think Gonstead is the best out of that system. And then tonal, so taking it easy. I would actually attend a tonal club and a Gonstead club. One speaker a week. The cool thing about being in school, that's the easiest thing to hit. All these different clubs, the school is bringing in assemblies and extra. I did not miss. I probably hit 2 speakers per week. When all my friends were like, we're going to bowling, we're going this, we're going drinking. I'm like, well, I'm going to the speaker because my career is in chiropractic, not in bowling. So that's where I was. And number 2 are here, seminars. I went to all sorts of technique seminars, probably 75% of those, 2 seminars per month, were learning my craft, because as a student, that's the flow, that's your development chart. You need to learn how to get results before you learn to grow a business. But I definitely knew that I was going to start my practice. So probably a quarter of those were practice growth seminars. I checked out every single coaching and management group there was during my first 3 years, so that when I hit that last year of chiropractic school, I knew at that time who was the right fit for me. And I hired a coach, and what I had was I was paying in a contract for coaching. Actually, I think it was probably about 7 to 8 months out from opening, and I had weekly calls with them. As I'm flowing in this video, I realized that there was 3 other of my classmates. One was 1 trimester ahead of us. There was 3 others who were wired just like me, and we just knew that our outputs would determine our outcomes. And so actually, we had a weekly meetup. We would get together once a week at another dude named Dr. Tony. At the time, we weren't doctors, but we would meet up at his apartment, and we would work on technique, and we would work on our business plans. And that was a weekly meeting for that entire last 6 months. And the only thing I worried about was showing up. That is the magic word. Did I show up to club? Did I show up to the speaker? Did I show up to the seminars? Did I show up for my coaching call and go to those seminars? And I was good by showing up. It added up, okay? Then we moved into startup season, and you're going to see a lot more action here. Now, cover this up to the left. When I started, it was this stuff, because I'm old, and that's why there's a gray beard. So there's no social media on here, but I'm going to switch over to what you should do as a startup these days. And again, when I say that, those are the magic offensive words, right? Should do. I'm just telling you the stuff that I did that worked. And I know I can help you not by making up stuff, but by literally just popping the hood, pulling out the archives and going, this worked. And then also, because I've taught this to hundreds and hundreds of other startups, and the third thing, other docs, I just know that it works because I've seen others take the advice, take the output system, put it in play, and it's worked. And I've given the same, kind of instructional manual and systems to others, and they didn't do the work, and it didn't work. So the only difference in that equation is, did they do the outputs at the same level that I've always done? And if they do, they're right where we are, growing and impacting kids and families in their community like none other. So as a startup, I knew what I didn't know. I continued to work on my craft. I knew that despite all the, what do we get, 200 adjustments on in clinic, and I did a couple hundred more on clinic abroad, a mission trip, but I still needed to work on my craft. So out of this probably now went 50-50, where 50 of them were technique and 50 were practice growth. And that I committed to 2 talks per week. I wanted 1-on-1. I hosted one inside my office that I invited patients to. So a various, perfect storm, raising healthy kids naturally. So I just put a lot of these like internal talks on rotation, and patients would come and they would bring friends, and then friends would become new patients. And then I had a goal of at least 1 talk out in the community at another ADHD support group or pediatric group, PTOT clinic, wherever I could go. So 1-to-1, 2 per week, not per month, 2 per week. Then I wanted to grab, why am I on eraser mode now? Then I wanted to grab coffee or grab lunch or go meet up with 2 other professionals. So this all flows together. By having these meetups, I would get myself scheduled for a talk at their office or their business. Then this is where I'll show my old schoolness. This is all dependent upon me. This is what I could do with my time. I guess these 2 for my marketing. These 2, because my time and my outputs were working, getting into the community, doing talks every single week, 2 per week, and workshops, I built my practice on the back of those meetups and those workshops. And I had plenty of new patients starting out, which I had plenty plenty of income, and I always committed to at least 10% of our monthly revenue towards advertising, which I consider to be the word for branding. So we would go in and record 2 new radio ads, and I would write 2 new articles in these 2 different magazines and publications that went out to moms in the community. So I knew the radio station that moms listened to, and I knew the articles that moms were more likely to read, and I put pediatric chiropractic branding content output out. What does that look like now if you're doing startup season? You don't need to do these. You'll notice I didn't do any screenings because I didn't need to, because even back then I created a don't need screenings output calendar because I just couldn't. So now you have social. I guess I should have put a header on this. So the social media content calendar, which again, if you need hours beyond what I'm going to show you on the whiteboard, and you want the whole training and the whole output calendar, I'll put that link in here and you can see that to download that. I'll put it in the comments. But we put out 2 testimonials per week on social media, Facebook and Instagram. We rock 2 short form reels. We actually usually do more than that. Or I would, if I'm a startup right now, I would definitely do more than that because I have time as a startup, but these are minimum outputs to achieve maximum outcomes and goals. So 2 short videos, reels per week. Then this is what people are missing right now. If you're watching this video here, kind of like late 2022, early 2023, we're going to continue to probably run this one out. If you're not doing long form videos, even though short form TikTok reels and even short form on YouTube are hot, moms need more from you. They are going to do their homework on you and they will watch your long form videos. And if you're not doing them 2 per week, Facebook and YouTube are the best platforms for this, and then your own blog on your website too. You can just keep uploading them there. You're missing out on 30 to 40% of new patients that you could have 30 to 40% growth, and you don't even know it. Dr. Matt and I are I'm doing a video for you that I would do in the same way. I'm educating you on how to grow your practice. And here's my goal: to help you. If you just take this and put it in action, you're going to serve more kids. If you go through this video and as detailed and helpful as it is, you're going to realize, oh my goodness, if that's how good this content is on the outside, inside on YouTube or in the Facebook group for free, holy cow, could he help me? Could they help me in a big way inside the membership? The answer is yes. This is an appetizer. And so we do those exact videos. We provide high value educational 5 to 10 minute videos for moms that make their lives and families better. So they trust us, they understand us, they get what we do, and they come in for care. And then they got to know you, they got to feel you, you got to be authentic. So just 2 posts per week. So there's 6 posts. These 2 split. This is Instagram, that's Facebook. There's Monday through Saturday, your posting schedule. All right. What about today? What about you gray beards and been at it and your life is different than when you were a student or your startup, okay? Today, because our growth and the impact, because of our outcomes, has us in such a place, I now have 3 brands. I do this twice in so that schedule right there, our team, when I say I mean we, so that's probably the biggest shift. Now, today, I have built a team, and every single interview and onboarding with everyone on the team, I simply share with them and then ask them to commit to the outputs. They know that they are not judged upon outcome, they are judged upon output. And when I say judge, that's their accountability. Do you show up each week and adjust and slay this many subluxations? Do you show up if you're helping with marketing and do this many videos or send this many emails? We live by a content output calendar, and that's all I worry about for the team, and that's all they need from me. So we do this for 3 brands. That much social media. The practice kicks out that much content. PX Docs kicks out that much content. PX, to help chiropractors help that many kids, kicks out that much content. We actually have doubled that as well because we've doubled our team and built a studio. So those are all more than that times 3 platforms. Now here's my personal life. Now I go get better once a quarter. Now I can create a 90-day cadence instead of needing to go to a seminar once or twice a month and leave my family that much. I only have gone once a quarter going to a mastermind training. The cool thing about the mastermind I'm in with Dr. Axe, Dr. Sullivan, Dr. Toohill, we have weekly weekly mastermind trainings as well. And I pay a very high dollar amount for high ticket coaching because those are the goals God has in front of me now. So I have a coaching call once per month with Dr. Toohill as well, who's just a wizard of scaling and growth. And that is extremely valuable. I never miss that. I read one book per month. Now, I've actually backed off. I used to do a couple per month, but I learned this from Dr. Axe. But if you read 5, but you just kind of skim through them, what did you get out of them? So I really focus on one book per month that is aligning with the area of our practice or life or business that we want to grow at that time. Now, where I consume a ton, because I drive a ton, I live in the middle of nowhere, is 5 to 10 podcasts per week. And I'll take notes on my iPhone about those. And then my biggest output probably today as a leader is I have a minimum of 5 meetings per week that I must show up to lead, to listen, to learn what my team needs from me so that we can grow together. So again, this is probably well into 15 to 20 minute mark. I feel like I just did kind of a TED Talk style, which is absolutely awesome. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to just give you like a 60-second reel version of outputs equals outcomes, because it does. Like if you can just commit to the outputs and the actions, you have literally handled the outcomes. I promise you, it happens this way always for everyone. Okay, you do the work, you get the results. The only way to actually get better, but you're like, I've been doing it for 6 months and it's not there yet. Well, you're not good yet. You have to go for another 6 months. For whatever that output is, you must need more learning. And the only learning, yes, seminars, yes, books, yes, podcasts to improve the learning curve, but repetition, repetition, repetition. Most people quit. They back off of the outcomes. 1 to 2 punches, 1 to 2 talks, 1 to 2 videos, 1 to 2 outputs before the success was there. They were about to break through and they back off. Not those who simplify this and just commit to the outcomes. We have turned this theory, this principle, if you will, into everything with your practice. This is how you grow your practice through marketing and branding. Output schedule. This is how you grow your practice through serving your community and being there for kids and families. Output, hours, efficiencies. How many can you adjust? How many new patients? We run the most effective, efficient system within the PX model. We do this with our personal life. My health, my family time is an output schedule. My vacations based upon outcomes. Life is freaking fantastic because I've made it boring. Because I've made it simple and I've made it structured. I hope this helps you. I pray this helps you grow your practice, serve more kids and families, and have an amazing life with your kids and families as well. Go through it a couple times, tag somebody who needs it, ask me any questions, give me some feedback. I love you. Get after it. See you on the next one.